just one more day until the most important Jerome Powell speech of your life. ... Again, we got the latest updates on what the Fed is thinking about, is saying, what the markets are saying. We got Kanye coin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana updates. We got a lot for you. Let's go ahead and get into it. Go. So, guys, we got this to start off with. Kyle Dube sharing this. FOMC minutes just dropped. Fed still playing it cautious. No rush to cut, even though markets keep betting on a September cut. Morgan Stanley's calling for no cuts at all this year. And, of course, Trump's already weighing in here. Interesting. Now, some of the notes here from Walter Bloomberg sharing. Full effect tariffs could take some time. That's the big thing right now weighing on markets. How are the tariffs going to affect things, and how is the Fed going to react to that? Several concerns about elevated asset valuations. Markets are too hot. Keep rates high. Cool markets off. Hasn't worked so far. Markets just keep ripping despite the rates being high. Okay, so it's going to be an interesting Jackson Hole speech tomorrow. And, of course, a long month until we get that potential Fed rate cut. Morgan Stanley now says the Fed won't cut rates this year. That is a pretty contrarian take, considering that betting markets are saying we have a 90% chance of rate cuts this year with about an 80% chance of cuts in September. Hard to say. Obviously, the big financial analysts like Morgan Stanley, they've got their metrics for looking at this and their belief systems for looking at this. The betting markets, they're just pure money, chasing hype, man. So let's see. That would be, in a crazy way, the most contrarian thing for Jerome Powell to do. Just keep not cutting rates. Don't cut them at all in 2025. Just leave it unchanged. The labor markets, of course, continue to be a problem. It's hard for Jerome Powell to continue to ignore that, especially when we see what September numbers are going to be, because by the time the September FOMC meeting happens, we'll have new CPI data for August, and we'll have new non-farm payroll numbers coming in as well. So we'll see how all it plays out, but it's going to be a big month, let's say. Cointelegraph reporting, retail traders turned ultra bearish after Bitcoin dipped below 113K, marking the most negative sentiment since June 22nd. Historically, this extreme pessimism signals buying opportunity as markets often move opposite to crowd expectations. Yes, classic. CryptoCom with this one. Second cross on the mass index triggers the final Bitcoin parabola. It's been the longest gap ever seen between a first and a second cross, but the second one just landed. Now, because it's been the longest gap ever seen between the first and the second, I wonder if it's going to be the longest run ever seen. Higher for longer doesn't just apply to interest rates, baby. Maybe we're going to go higher for longer in the markets, too. This is the AI crypto bubble, and while everybody keeps wanting to scream that the top is in, and there's things that are getting frothy out there, make no mistake. IPOs are hot again for the first time in a very, very long time, but they've just started getting hot. They haven't been hot for a year running. Okay, when you start seeing crypto IPOs for absolute garbage companies that do literally nothing going to billions and billions of dollars, that's when you know the top is getting close, okay? Then we have stuff like Kanye coin, which is freaking the markets out, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Quentin here pointing out, though, so you're telling me $124,000 was the top while 0 of the 30 bull market peak indicators flashed. That's what they're telling you, man. I don't buy it either. We did have a nice bounce yesterday from this zone of interest, let's call it $112,400 was where we got down to, right back down into this little box right here. Now, as crazy as the road may seem sometimes, I was talking about this here. Look, if you're going to get any kind of pullback, it's going to be back to here, okay? It's not necessarily where you want to see the pullback to. It's pretty brutal pullback, let's say. I mean, for Bitcoin's only 10% or whatever, but still, you know, the market starts to get a bit panicky when you see that kind of move. You did lose key moving averages as well, so now we need to see Bitcoin step up to the plate. We did get back to this downtrend line, but we're currently under the 50-day EMA. The price today so far has only rallied up to the 50-day EMA and been currently rejected there. A long time for the daily close to come in, so a lot can happen between now and then. Bulls want to defend 112. Okay, that's a pretty key level for the markets right now. So let's see how price reacts here over the next few days. Guys, you're trading these markets. You need a good place to do it. That place is BitUnix. If you want to start trading over there, it's a no KYC, no VPN, no BS exchange. What does that mean? It means anyone, anywhere can trade on BitUnix. The long rip, short the dips. They got all the big coins, your XRP, your Solana, your Ethereum. They got your dog coins. They got your penguin coins. They got a great range of coins, deep liquidity, and all those. You can trade them today. Link down below. And here's the deal. When you use that link, you're going to get some pretty awesome bonuses. So listen up. You go straight to VIP level 3 for a trial. It means a 30% fee discount. You'll also get up to $400 in deposit bonuses. So you deposit $500, get $100 back, $1,000, $200 back, and $2,000 plus you get $400 back. Plus there's just insane trading bonuses. You can see these on the screen below my head here. Crazy trading bonuses. So the more you trade, the more money goes back in your pocket. Link down below. Go check it out. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Kanye coin has launched officially. I'm not buying it. I have no interest in Kanye coin. It's another, let's say, max extract event. I mean, think about this. If Donald Trump coin has been basically down only, what the heck makes you think that Kanye coin is going to be anything but down only? Really? Okay, now look. Kanye's a fascinating character, let's say. But to think that he gives a crap about anything that goes on in crypto is delusional. Okay, Kanye cares about Kanye, and we already see multiple insider wallets prepared funds in advance and immediately bought the coin on launch. You've already been front run. This thing went from $200 million to $3 billion in a very, very short amount of time. Insiders already have their wallets completely effing loaded up. This is a Make Kanye Rich event. This is not designed to help you in your life. This is not designed to be something good for anybody aside from the few insider wallets who got early information about it. I have zero interest in these kind of celebrity BS coins. Just nothing's interesting about this thing. Why the hell would you buy Kanye coin? Go and buy something that's going to have a real community. Go and buy something that's going to not be a max extract event. Now, the good news is that it has launched, but it's certainly nothing like the Trump coin when that launched. When Trump coin launched, it was this black hole that sucked in liquidity right across the market. The launch of Kanye coin, it's here, it's out. Some people are talking about it. Some insiders are making money on it. Yeah, obviously, it's got some attention, but I don't see it as being that much of an exciting move compared to what we saw with the Trump coin, for example. So anyway, I'm not buying it. You guys, let me know if you're buying it down below. Certainly not interesting for me, but even if you were going to buy it, man, at the current valuation, it feels a bit late, doesn't it? Especially knowing all these insider wallets just going to be dumping on your ass. Anyway, that's that news. We have more exciting, more fundamentally important news. China is considering allowing uses of a yuan-backed stablecoin for the first time to bolster yuan internationalism efforts. Yes, China, you cannot resist. You cannot resist, China. Come back. Come back to crypto. Legalize all of it. Yuan stablecoins. Let Bitcoin trading happen. Let's just do it, guys. Come on. Stop resisting. Shardy B sharing this. Tom Lee apparently still has us rallying into September, so either this week is a bear trap or his timing is a little off. We shall see. That's in response to this chart here. S&P 500, Tom Lee remaining 2025 roadmap blueprint. And yes, most definitely it looks like a 10% minor dip between September and October. Very interesting. Now, this is basically Tom Lee, Wall Street legend, looking at the S&P 500 continuing to rally until around the time of rate cuts, approximately. That also lines up with global M2 reaching a peak with about a 3-month delay, okay? So if that's the case, we see crypto and stocks rally for another few weeks. You got maybe about a month left, and then we're going to see a significant pullback in markets in October, potentially November, before prices rally in late November and into December, for example. So very interesting to see if this prediction is going to come true or not. Definitely a chart worth keeping an eye on, particularly something that we've been talking about this as well. The rate cuts are a potential sell the news event, and we've been talking about the global M2 as a potential event as well. So let's see how that plays out. McKenna here is seeing a few cycle top calls out here, although I do think the base case here is that Powell having a hawkish stance, not confirming 7 rate cuts, which de-risks markets after a heater for both crypto and U.S. equities. However, I do not see why this turns into a structural spot selling, creating a 30 to 60% correction in BTC. There was a lot of leverage, especially in longer tail, that needed to get wiped out, and it's already been correcting to healthier levels. The only thing that has changed is Saylor's approach to MSTR BTC acquisition strategy. We still have flows from emerging BTC-focused DATs, digital asset treasury companies. Budget neutral BTC for U.S. Treasury, not confirmed. confirmed and to be decided, and 401k green light for BTC exposure confirmed and to be decided. And of course, we'll take some time as we discussed here in the channel. I think it's natural deleveraging, not a shift in structural demand supply that creates real turns in markets. I agree. What we're seeing right now is not a major turning point in markets. There's still plenty of demand out there for coins. Now, let's take a look real quick at Ethereum. Ethereum did have a bullish engulfing candle, my ridiculously large orange arrow here. You can see we had a bullish engulfing candle yesterday for ETH on the bounce at the 20-day EMA. Nice reaction so far. I'd like to point that out, okay? We came right back down to our demand zone. So we came down to $4,060 or whatever, and we had a nice, strong bounce on the reaction back up. Now, it's not the world's strongest bullish engulfing candle, but it's technically a bullish engulfing candle, so I'll take it. The trick now is if you see the price come back down into this zone, okay, between $3,800 and $4,000, or back down to the 20-day EMA, so anywhere maybe say between $4,100 and $3,800, probably a buy zone for ETH here, okay? Now, yes, it is short-term and a downtrend here. You can look at it like that. That being said, those are the demand zones for ETH right now, okay? Remember, this is all normal. We had an incredible breakout. We finally broke through $4,000 after years of it being resistance. Coming back down to test that key resistance to try to flip it into support is normal, okay? Solana, even better reaction on Solana here. Solana always tends to be a little more volatile, doesn't it? Came back down to retest the 50-day EMA at $175, like we were saying yesterday. Decent risk-reward spot. If you're looking at it, say, okay, 50-day EMA, you going to bounce or not? It bounced, okay? Nice bounce, actually, from the 50-day EMA. So these EMAs are just such critical zones in the market. You can see how often they react to price and how often markets and traders tend to use these and look at these levels. Well, that's exactly what we saw yesterday. We saw a nice bounce off the 50-day EMA. Now, nice bounce, 175 to 185, fantastic. Tricky part is this right here. You see the price came back up to the bottom of the previous support trend line, which is now acting as resistance, okay? So ideally, you want to see the price get back up over that, start running up to $200 and all that stuff. Might take a little longer than you think, but that would be the key levels to watch right now. If you get a pullback once again to the 50 or 20 yellow line or 50-day EMAs here, probably still interesting buy zones here for Solana. Litecoin, similar situation, okay? So there are some things that I'm seeing in the charts right now that I'm not loving, right? Again, here we go. Litecoin, great barometer for altcoin trading. We see the uptrend line broke, lost the 20-day EMA. And what are we doing right now? We're retesting the underside of the 20-day EMA. What we hoped to hold as support now potentially acting as resistance, okay? We saw a similar thing happen here with some other coins too. Right now, Pengu, nice bounce off of a zone of price support right here at 2.8 cents. Not bad. Recovered the 50-day EMA. Nice to see. Now we got the 20-day EMA looming overhead as potential resistance, okay? So if you missed getting it down here at the 50-day or the area of price support here, 2.8 cents. Watch for a breakout beyond the 20-day EMA. Okay, that would probably be the next trade in here as a 3.3 cents, targeting potentially run back up to new highs. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Bonk. Oh, Bonk. You know, this makes me reconsider my Bonk position, and I may exit for a slight loss before the loss gets worse. Move that money into Penguin Coin or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, Bonk Fund wants a leading launchpad on Solana just 3 weeks ago. How quickly the tides shift. Saw only one coin graduate in the last 24 hours. The drop highlights how quickly momentum shifts in crypto. Amen to that. Holy cow. Bonk, you were in trouble, buddy. We went from being completely dominating with 80% of daily volume for meme coin launches to one launch graduate yesterday. That's crazy stuff, man. We have a new one that's come out called Heaven, which is competing with Pump Fun, and we have Pump Fun, of course, still pumping huge amounts of money into their ecosystem. So not great, Bonk. Not great. Price also looking pretty rough here, buddy. To be honest, not loving these charts. Like I said, I may exit my spot position that I only bought recently on Bonk. You know, I'm going to be a little more flexible with this one because the whole thesis was on that it was going to maintain some kind of launchpad relevance here. If it's not, that's tricky. Okay, so chart not looking fantastic. You can see we came back down to retest 50-day EMA, came back up and hit the 20-day as underside retest. That's a bearish retest on the bottom of the 20-day EMA. Price fell down again below the 50-day EMA. I'm not loving that. And we even have a bearish crossover of the 20 and 50-day EMAs right here on Bonk. So unless the situation changes pretty soon, I may consider exiting my position here on Bonk. Okay, so there you go. All right, gosh darn it. We got a lot to cover today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope we got some value out of what we had to talk about. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you as always, and I'll see you back in the next one. Peace.